Okay, we're at the end of chapter 5. So, writing these decimals as fractions. Remember, this is our divisor. It comes first when we do long division. So we put 1, and then I'm just going to put 0.00. And remember, we have to bring our decimal up. 4 doesn't go into 1, so we put a 0 there. But 4 will go into 10 2 times. That's 8. So when we subtract, we get left with 2. Bring down a 0. 4 goes into 20. 5 whole times. 5 times 4 is 20. So we subtract, and we're done. Now, so 1/4 is 0.25. -5/8. Don't work with the negative, just put it in your answer. Take 8 divided into 5. And I'm going to start with 2 decimals, 2 decimal places. 8 doesn't go into 5, so we put a 0, but it will go into 50, and it will go 6 times. So 6 times 8 is 48. Subtract, that's 2. Bring down a 0. 8 goes into 20 2 times, which is 16. 20 minus 16 leaves 4. We got to add a 0. So when we add a 0, that makes it 40. 8 goes into 40 5 times, and we're done with this. So -0.625. Now, 2/3. 3 divided into 2. Again, start with 2 zeros. 3 doesn't go into 2, so that's 0. 3 goes into 20. 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. We subtract. 2, bring down a 0. Whoops. We hit a repeat. So the answer to this is 0.6 repeated forever. Now, 7 goes into 22. Bring our decimal up. 7 goes into 22 3 whole times. So minus 21. Bring down our 0. 7 goes into 10 1 time. Subtract. 7 goes into 30 4 times. That's 28. Minus 2. This is getting icky. Add a 0. 7 goes into 20 twice. That's 14. So we get 6, and we add a 0. 7 goes into 60. Yuck. So let's do this. Good buddy calculator. 22 divided by 7. That's gross. And where do we see this gross number a lot? And wow, that light really is kind of blinding on there. I hope that looks a little better. Now, this number right here gets used a lot when we're doing circles. So, I want to tell you, get used to it, because you're going to see it a lot. Now, in number E, the whole number stays the whole number. And that was what I told you in 5.3. And then we're going to put a decimal. And we're going to cheat a little bit. We're going to use a calculator. So, we take 3 divided by 16. Aha. 1875. I think we need the light back because the paper is kind of getting shiny. Notice, I just want to point something out. When we write long division on paper, we put the divisor first. In the calculator, we put the dividend first. So get used to that. Now, which one's larger, 1/8 or 0.12? So we take 1 divide 8 in our calculator, and that gives us 0.125. So when I compare, the 1s are the same, the 2s are the same. Technically, this is a 0 here, so 5 is bigger than 0. So 1/8 is bigger than 0.12. Then on B, 0.7 and these dots mean that the 7 gets repeated forever. So which one's bigger? 0.7 repeated forever or 7 divide 9? So let's see, 7 divide 9. Oops. These are equal. Now, writing these in order from smallest to biggest. Alright. Take 9 divide 20. Oops. And you can't see it in your... There we go. So this one is 0.45. And then 4 divide 9 is 0.4 repeated forever. So 0.444 repeat forever. So the second digit here is a 5, the second one here is 4, and the second one here is 5. So 4/9 is the smallest, so you're going to write it first, comma. Now, this one has a 0 as the third digit. This one has a 6 as the third digit. So this one is smaller. So 9/20, and then 0.456. Notice that when I wrote my answer, I wrote them how they were given to me at the very beginning. Now, order of operations. Now it's whichever one comes first from left to right. Parentheses, or I could call them grouping symbols, or exponents. Then multiply or divide. Then adds or subtracts. This one has a divide and a times, but from left to right, these are both on the same level. So from left to right, I get to my divide first. So I have to divide 3 decimal places, 3 zeros, so 3 decimal places to the left, because I'm dividing. Dividing means I go left. So 0.723. Sorry, I don't put that decimal there, do I? And then times 10. Times 10, 1 0, 1 decimal place to the right. So 7.236. Or you could just go ahead and use the calculator and put it in exactly as you see it. 723.6 divided by 1,000, so 123, and then times by 100. And hey, we got the same answer. Calculator must be pretty smart. Now, when I see nothing between -0.5 and parenthesis, just remind yourself that means times. But does times or parenthesis come first? Parenthesis. So 6 minus 2 is 4. And remember your decimal place. 8 minus 1 is 7. And we times this by -0.5. And I'm going to use the calculator. -0.5 times 7.4 gives us negative 3.7. And on number C, again, if nothing between the two in parentheses, it means times. So, and times is a bigger dog than plus, so you got to take out the big dog first. So, negative 1.3 times 2 is negative 2.6, and then plus 2.4. These are opposite signs, so you subtract. So plus 2.4, I'm just going to mark that out. And 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 minus 2 is nothing. Our bigger number is negative, so our answer is negative. Alright, on page, and I know it says 373, and that was probably wrong. Example 14, and let me find it real quick, and I can't seem to find it, so scratch that. I don't know where it is. Solving these equations, remember, we got to get x by itself. The opposite, what's keeping it from being by itself is minus 1.5. The opposite of minusing 1.5 is to add 1.5. If I add it on one side of equals, I have to add it to the other side. Remember, when adding and subtracting decimals, you have to line up the decimals. So chop chop, x equals 9.5. The opposite of timesing by negative 2 is to divide by negative 2. And remember, don't work with the negative, just throw it into your answer. So do 2 divided into 6.7. 2 goes into 6 3 times. Bring down your 7. 2 goes into 7 3 times. Minus 6. That leaves a 1. Add a 0. And 2 goes into 10 5 times. So negative 3.35 is your answer on this one. Now, this only had a minus, and this only had a times. Our next problem has a plus and a times. So which one do we get rid of first? We get rid of the one that's furthest away from x. So the opposite of adding 5.8 is to minus 5.8. And I'm going to use Good Buddy calculator. 8.2 minus 5.8. So it gives us 1.2x is equal 2.4. And then we divide by 1.2, because the opposite of timesing is to divide. And move this decimal, move this decimal. Aha! 24 divided by 12 is 2. Ew. We have a parenthesis and we can't do x minus 0.36, so we have to distribute our 5. So 5 times x is 5, and then we got a minus. Then 0.36 times 5, and I'm using the calculator, is 1.8, equals negative 1 times x plus 2.4. Ooh, we've got x's on both sides. And you just lost the page. Here we go. Now you can see it. You take small x to big X, either by adding or subtracting. This is a negative 1x, so the opposite of subtracting it is to add it. So 5x's plus 1x's gives us 6x's minus 1.8 equals chop chop. positive 2.4. Now again, we got a minus and we got a times. So the opposite of minusing is to add. Chop chop. 6x is equal. That's 12 carry 1. 4.2. Okay. Then we divide by 6. Divide by 6. And remember, well, go ahead and use a calculator. So 4.2 divide 6 leaves us 0.7. If you have questions, just ask. We will be very glad to answer them.